this going. And, oops. Come on, machine.
Don't show them how the sausage is made.
That. There we go. Let's see. I'm going to do this. All right. All right. So hopefully that's everything you needed to do.
You're good. We see
Cool.
it.
All right. And you're recording?
I am.
Awesome. All right. So welcome all to our off schedule but always on time MVP office hours. We are excited to have you join us again today. I am Squire Kirshner. Joining me today is Dale Ziegler, and Joy Shutters Helping will be here
She's
shortly.
right there.
Oh, she just jumped on. All I did was say her name. It was like Beetlejuice or Candyman or something.
Or any other option. I don't know.
We are excited to have you along. I saw a couple MVPs join us. Some new, some helping from last week or 2 weeks ago, and so it's great to have you joining us as well. As always, we meet twice a month. First and third Friday of the month. Obviously, this month didn't work out that way, so that's why we got the weird dates. But just want to go through a couple important points. All the events that Salesforce has can be found at the All Events link shown at the top of the screen, and these slide decks are posted in our Success community, so or in the Success chatter. So dig it up there if you need it. So we've got links there for the Salesforce events and the customer success events, as well as all the Trailhead calendar events. Quick update on the Dreamin' events. SurfForce and Philly Force are still slated to occur based on the links that are available at the link or at the site. Florida Dreamin' did decide to postpone to 2021, so if you're planning to go to Orlando, bump your tickets. And Banff Dreaming is still scheduled for November at this time. And always remember that you've got the Trailblazer groups and Trailblazer community groups and success groups, and there's so many ways to stay in touch and keep connected to all the community events. So make sure you head out there and check them out. Also a reminder, EMEA and Portuguese MVP office hours are scheduled for the last Thursdays of the month. Also note, don't have to speak Portuguese to join the Portuguese group. And I believe the same holds true for EMEA. I haven't attended, so I apologize. But everybody helping everybody, no matter what global area you're logging in from, is important. Let's see here. We'll go on to the next one. Always the bookkeeping. So make sure that if you're here to not only listen, but to share and to give input and to make recommendations and just be part of the learning and the success that we're all trying to build off of. But when you're not talking, stay on mute. Obviously, we've been doing this virtually long enough that I think everybody's getting the hang of that piece of it, not just us, but in the world. Feel free to raise your hand or make a chat post about your questions. We will do our best to keep track of everybody in order and get to you as quickly as possible. And when you do come on, please announce yourself. Feel free to share resources, but make sure that there's something that can be recorded. Anything proprietary or that shouldn't be shared for perpetuity on YouTube shouldn't be shared if you can help it. And we have the same registration links as always in the community. So sign up for the next 1, 10, 50 of them. We look forward to seeing you.
And just one more thing on the recording, the big fat disclaimer here, because we are recording, if you can't be recorded, if you're not comfortable being recorded, we will be posting the recording later, but we would unfortunately need to bid you adieu at this point. So that's all.
Yep. I think, and it's a good transition too, that doesn't mean that you can't post in the success community and ask us to speak to that topic at a later date, or even let the rest of the community help you answer those questions. It's more about the recording than it is about the question, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool. All right. And with that, let's just do a quick roll call. How many MVPs are in the call today?
I'm here. I don't know how to raise my hand.
Welcome.
In the chat, I think there's where is that? I don't know. In the participant window.
I don't know.
can
Tell me
raise
about
and
this
lower
thing
your
called
hand.
Zoom. I've never had to use Zoom. What is it? It's so scary and new and frightening and
What is
overwhelming.
This is my third conference call vendor today.
Whoa. Get this lady a bingo card.
right? Ugh.
I mean, WebEx, Zoom, Google, like I'm out. Like
My clients made
Zoom
me
is after this.
my client made me install Teams, so I have that sitting on my computer too. Yeah.
Awesome. So we've got a couple today, right? We've got Jake and we've got Gina
Yeah.
and Dale and Squire and Joy.
And
Yada-da-da-da-da.
and let's be honest, we're all MVPs because we joined the call. So let's just go from there.
Aw, so sweet.
I am the minimum viable product.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I think I will hand it off to the group, and let's see what we can come up with.
So why don't we start with Andrea, since she emailed us a question here a couple of hours ago. Go for it.
Sure. So I'm new to the company, so I'm trying to figure out things. So that's part of it where I'm like, I don't know what all is going on the back end. But we have email to case turned on and get spam cases so we're a software vendor and our customers use the software to send emails to their customers, to their contacts. We think what happens is our support email gets created as a contact. So it comes, so it says like the call is coming from inside the house. Like the email we get is coming from us. And they're handled in a couple different ways. We're also working on a re-implementation of our Salesforce. So we have 2 orgs that are handling things differently. It's great. So that's the other layer. But so some things, one of them assigns the spam to a queue and sets a substatus of spam. Neither org deletes anything. And so I'm wondering, like, I'm sure I can create automation to make it delete things, but I'm like, do I want to do that so that things don't get, like, do I want to make sure there's a human interaction in some way, shape, or form so that good cases don't get deleted? So just kind of like a best practice suggestions, whatever, for how to make sure that we don't have spam cases messing up our support metrics, but that good legit cases, I say legit, don't get thrown into spam and or deleted.
I happen to know that Jake is king of support. So, Joy, you have quite a bit of experience with that too, right?
I've got some options, but I want to hear what Jake has to say. Jake, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm still here. I had to deal with my dog running away. He's back. So I mean, my first question for you is going to be: you said a lot of the cases are actually internal cases, like being created from within side, correct?
Well, so it looks like it's coming from us. So it's like support, or it's coming from no reply at zenplanner.com. It's like it's coming from our software that the customer is using. There's like, hey, here's this great webinar. And because our support email is like a contact in their database or whatever.
Oh, so they're marketing to you.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, but it's coming from like it looks like it's coming from like our domain essentially. And so that's
the spoofing element. Yeah.
Well, it's coming from us, which is fine if it's going to their customer, but if it's coming, yeah. It's not
Can you
spoofing.
unsubscribe?
I
mean, it seems like a very like basic thing, but I'm like, can you task someone with going through that unsubscribe for that email address, or for those customers that are marketing to you inadvertently?
it's probably a solution, but I don't know yet the full breadth of how many customers we have. So it may be
So
it's not an option.
is the from address always the same, or does it vary?
There's at least one that I know of, and I'm not sure. I'm still figuring out the ins and outs. There's a couple different products that we offer, so
Yeah.
it may be one of a few. I think right now it's like no reply or something to that effect at Zen. Like
One of the things
part
that
of it is yes.
I've done in the past is if I'm getting hit up by a single email address, is within my case assignment rules. I just kind of part of my criteria is is it from address from this domain or from this whatever, and then I pass it off and saying I'm gonna move that into one of my queues that's like the spam queue, and then you just like do whatever you want with that spam queue. But that way it doesn't hit all the other queues, and then you can hide that spam queue.
Is there ever a scenario though where you legitimately do want that to pass through?
Right.
That's why I don't want to automatically, like, I was like, well, assign it to the spam queue and then potentially, run automation to like run a flow that looks at it and deletes it.
I have
But,
never,
like,
right. I think, everybody wants to automate all the things, but I've never been opposed to having a little bit of human interaction there just to kind of monitor. Somebody needs to dip the pH stick in the water to make sure that it's water, right?
Multi-step process, right? Like set up your assignment rules and then assign a person to that queue to monitor. I think is a good first step. And then you can add additional email addresses that come through to that rule, and then take feedback from that human, whether like, okay, like 100% of these are always spam. 50% of these are not spam. Holy cow. And they can also be tasked with unsubscribing at the same time, because it's like if you unsubscribe your contact to that marketing effort, they should stop sending those to you. And then the other thing is like you may just need to like contact them and ask them to remove your company's contact from their marketing efforts.
Mm-hmm.
But you task a human with that. Because an automation is only going to make that volume increase exponentially, because you're going to be accepting it, and then you're running an automation that doesn't need to be run if someone can stop it before it comes to the door.
And actually, to build on what Joy was saying, my name's Paul Selway, by the way. I had a problem where someone, whoever, it was a spammer, was just constantly creating cases with the spam to case, web to case. So I was struggling with that. I ended up putting a simple trigger on the object, and it was the same person with the same message. And I just took that string and basically deleted it before it even got in the database. And that's what I call the big stick approach. I like the more nuanced approach that Joy said, and take a look at it, learn about it, and then try to legitimately stop them. But if you've got someone doing it that's not playing the game, then you can certainly do that with a trigger or flow or something.
We actually created a button on Case called Scrap Ticket, so that it would route to the support team, and if it looks like it's spam, they can scrap it. But we have been hit with bots, so we had a bot once creating thousands of tickets, which was fun. And in that case, you have to investigate and go to the source and make them stop. But yeah.
Gina, I love that. And I would add to that, if you're going to do something like give your support team something like that, add to that button like a chatter post that like attaches to the case that says, spam or whatever you want to call it, so that you can collect that information along the way. And that way, if you can see what's going on with it.
So you mentioned that you need these out so that they don't impact metrics. How often are you reporting on cases?
That I don't know yet.
Gotcha.
I know there's stuff like, so there's I haven't dug into the reporting because I know they said it'll, because when I got kind of a high level overview from someone on the support team, like they'll look at, I believe there is already a spam queue. So that is happening on to some level that, yeah, they're going into a spam queue, but I don't know at what point there is a human interaction to close them.
Mhm.
So things are it's skewing the metrics in two ways. I mean, I don't know if the reportings are built to, I would hope that they would exclude ownership by the spam queue, or if the status or I think there's a substatus that's spam.
I think the exclusion has to be based on if there's human interaction or not. So if they're all being routed directly via case assignment rules, like they can be excluded. But if your service team is spending time like reading and identifying and being like, oh, this is garbage, they should be getting credit for the human time that they're putting into it. They're closing them super fast, but they're spam, right? And so that sort of thing needs to be taken into account. And I know that some service managers like have a different thought process on that, and that's totally legitimate. I'm just saying that, like, as a user, like, I've spent time with this case that I couldn't spend with a legitimate case, and so I'm still working. It's not like I wasn't working. It's not like I wasn't closing cases. I was just flooded with spam. And then that will give you, Andrea, the leverage to be like, okay, we need to apply some kind of automation, and we need to assign someone the human work with this. So because your entire team is struggling with this and it's affecting the whole company's metrics.
And well, but then also don't lose sight of the big picture, that same data that you're capturing by not deleting the cases, but by putting whatever status, whatever, if you need to reach out to your Exchange team or whoever that's monitoring the actual inbound email, they may require hard data to justify resources if it is a bigger picture issue. And it's not just Salesforce. If this is coming into your email domain, I'm going to guess you're not managing that.
No, that's outside of my scope.
Right, but but it definitely may have an impact. Yeah.
So no, that's good. That's I hadn't thought about that. The idea of making sure that the team, they could close it, the substatus as spam, but if it comes to their ownership, they could close it, mark it as spam. That way, like you said, they get credit for closing that case and spending time on it. But if it goes to the queue, and we just, I think as I bring this up, it might, like, I don't know what the exact metrics are at this point, but I can see where that's a valid point, and they can always, if they want to adjust and only have like actual cases versus spam cases taken into account, we can just adjust reporting.
I mean,
just filter it, and then but you just want to make sure you have your options available, and that the time that's being spent on it is accounted for, because that's where you're going to get someone to spend, like, whatever it is, an hour a week going through that spam queue. Yes, spam, yes, spam, yes. Like, and then, like, you have a schedule, like, after 60 days, the spam gets deleted, because maybe you don't need to have all of that data. But if something slips through, you do have it. If a customer's like, hey, I sent you this email, and you're like, oh, well, we didn't get it. Well, yeah,
right. And that's why I didn't want to, that's why I was really hesitant to automatically delete it, because I don't want a legit case to slip through and have the ramifications there.
Yeah, I would talk to your service team and ask them about how long it takes for, case closure, and I would, find your magic number and don't dump it until, like, that. Maybe it's a whole quarter. I don't know. Maybe it's 3 months. But you don't need spam going against all your data numbers, right? Especially when there's attachments.
Yeah. That too.
One other thing you can take away from this too is by starting to document and manage, not only for this client but across the board, you might also be able to set up something that is maybe more of a company-wide communication to your clients to say, hey, just a reminder, this is the sort of thing that we want you to be aware of, and you shouldn't be spamming, or not spamming, but using that as a contact email.
Right.
That helps the entire sales organization and management make a more global change versus kind of a one-by-one change.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Looks like Christy has her hand up. Are you all set with your question, Christy?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was like, oh my God, I think they're on today and I need this now. Okay, so I hope to God I can explain this correctly. So
Oh.
we're building a scorecard object custom in our org, and it's off of specific opportunities. But because they're all off of opportunities, I did the scorecard as a master and one opportunity as a child, so that the various accounts and the various opportunities that equal closed one can roll up to total up in the scorecard. So when an opportunity is closed out as one, I want to create that one opportunity. And I was trying to, in Process Builder, match it because I've already got the blank scorecards going on, you know, one for June, one for July, one for August, et cetera, et cetera. Can't seem to get it to go to the month of the one opportunity that would match the master one, you know, of the same month. So if that's not possible, because it seems backwards, I know I'm trying to create a child account and have it find the master account that matches. If that's not possible in Process Builder, or is it possible in Flow?
Anything's possible in Flow within limits, I guess. So, Christy, you and I are always going to have our special inside jokes about the company that you work for and the way that you do things. So that's why I raised my hand so eagerly. And Scorecard was the bane of my existence about 10, 11, 12, 15 years ago.
You would be amazed at how little direction I got on building one. Go build the scorecard. Oh, okay.
Sweet. That sounds about like my first day. Why does scorecard data need to be saved in an object? Are you saying that, like, save the scorecard itself as data related to opportunities or accounts? Or what exactly are you trying to accomplish?
Okay, so the scorecard object will be used for PFP, whatever they call that.
Yep.
And in my head, I'm like, oh, well, I could, as a rep, have 4 different one opportunities that had a close date of the month of June, and they could be on 4 different accounts or 2 accounts, but we have to compare the revenue of the account. Did it grow? Because this is not one and done industry. Versus the amount that the rep said the opportunity was going to grow that account. Hey, I won this $5,000 thing. And so I wanted a place to gather all of those things. That's why I created one opportunities to roll up to that person's, that rep's scorecard for the month. Because we also need scorecards that will have nothing on them to show you didn't close anything out that month. So maybe I did it all wrong. You can tell me.
Well, so first of all, PFP, that was my life for 3 years. So many memories. No, have you looked into reporting snapshots?
You should.
Well,
yes, you should.
Well,
Yeah.
we have opportunities on trending, you know what I mean, where it gathers all that data at the time. But they also want it to roll up and be, you know, accounted for. So if you think that I should scrap all of that, what I was doing, and just use a report.
Well,
It's
well,
not
no,
just
so-
a report. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Dale. Sorry.
Well, oh no, you're good. So reporting snapshot, it uses reports, but then it aggregates the data at whatever frequency of time you say, whether it's weekly or monthly or whatever. But it takes a report that you set up, it runs at a scheduled time, and it takes the aggregate results and then puts those aggregates into a custom object that then is reportable, so that you could say in June 2020 there were 6 closed won opportunities. In July there were 8, and then you can start to show trending on that rather than having this big bulky cumbersome report on the opportunity object directly that may start to have too much data, or trending with raw data isn't an awesome experience in Salesforce. So if part of the goal is to get the trending from scorecard to scorecard, that's an opportunity to potentially use the reporting snapshots. Or something else to maybe think about, I'm shooting from the hip on this one, is have you implemented Rollup Helper or DLRS or anything like that that may help you with aggregating those results, because I loved roll-up summary fields with master detail relationships, but you're making some pretty hefty commitments when you implement a master detail relationship. Whereas rollup helper DLRS, they're writing those aggregate queries for you to then do the math and put the results where pretty much wherever you choose to do so that you can then report on those.
Okay, and I have to figure out, because they're trying to implement this fairly soon to get it going. And obviously you do need time on that. I am not very familiar with all of those trending parts. We didn't want to use Einstein. We have Einstein because only like the top 30 head honchos have Einstein, right? So not everybody can see it.
Which makes sense.
Right. And my goal in my head, because revenue is an object tied off of the account and we have to compare it, I was actually going to bring all that into each one opportunity and then roll it up to the scorecard from those one opportunities.
Okay, here, I'm gonna, you can't see my whiteboard.
Right, bigger boxes, Dale, bigger boxes.
Oh my God, can I? All right, let's give this a whirl. I am going to share my screen. We're gonna do a lucid chart and see if I can understand what your schema is and we can figure out what we're doing.
Bet you I need to stop, don't I?
I don't know if you need to as a co-host, but here we go.
I would also say that instead of rollup helper, Flow could do those calculations for you, and it's cleaner. I had a lot of problems with rollup helper, had to uninstall it, and it could have just been our org, but.
And we're actually uninstalling DLRS and going entirely to Flow now. We don't have any value in DLRS anymore because of the things you can do with Flow. So I'm with you, Gina.
How much data are you playing with? That's going to always be the consideration with Flow. How many records at a time?
I'm not sure I can answer at a time right now, but my assumption would be, if the reps are firing on all cylinders, they might close out 2 opportunities per month each.
Okay.
That would be great.
Gotcha. Okay, so not thousands of records of data.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. You know what it's like to get an opportunity in trucking. They leave almost as fast as they come.
Right. Yeah. I've been on the other end of it in the railroad where they're open for 3 years.
Hi, this is Adi. If I can throw another cent from me is the flow versus the reporting snapshot comes into the decision is like, do you want your results immediately to your rate card report or a rate card object the moment they close the opportunity? That is your first thing is, okay, the moment my rep is closed, they just want to be rate cards to be shown with most like a near real-time values. Then your best bet is the flow, because every time when an opportunity closed, you just pass the account and then say reevaluate this account. There you're going to read all the information about your account or your revenues for that account, and then all the open closed opportunities for that account, and you'll re-summarize and update it back to your rate card, because you're re-evaluating every time when the opportunities get closed. So your rate card will be re-evaluated. It's almost like a near real time, because you don't have thousands of opportunities are not closing. So you will be okay with a process builder. Sorry. A process builder / flow. Yeah.
Right, because I think what you're saying, Adi, is that the snapshot only runs on a schedule. So if you need the scorecard update daily, even though it closes at the end of the month, you can't do that with a snapshot.
Yeah, the reporting snapshot has disadvantages also, like the volume and it is daily based, and then that data may not be as perfect as the reporting snapshot is just a summary values. Let's say if you want to do your average and compare against the revenue dollar and all, no, that revenues doesn't do those kind of, the reporting doesn't do that kind of complicated logic. But flow, you can do anything as long as you're able to know, if you're a logical person, you're able to write conditions and evaluations, and then finally update the data you want.
Yeah. Thank you, Adi.
So this is the poor man's ERD, the poor man's schema. So you have the account object, you have the opportunity object, you have the revenue object, and it sounds like revenue hangs off of account. Is that right?
It does.
Okay. Are there any other objects with data that are going in the scorecard?
Revenue is a parent to the account. That looks like she mentioned about that. The revenue is above the parent.
Oh, it is?
No, the revenue is a child off of the account because
Oh,
we're bringing in
okay.
revenue from another system and it's tied up to that account. And it's weird. We've got a whole sideways relationship with third parties, but I won't even get into that crap yet. So I did create, because I felt like it needed to be 2 objects, 1 opportunities, which is just, it almost creates kind of that asset record thing, but it's a custom object for any opportunity that was 1, and then all of those would roll up to 1 scorecard. I was going to create scorecards for any active rep ahead of time. So like, for example, Dale, you would have 1 for June, 1 for July, 1 for August, 1 for September. Whatever close date it was, that's the scorecard it would be related to.
Okay. And then I'm assuming you were going to then use roll-up summary fields to show by month.
I was.
So you only get 25 roll-up summary fields per object. So after your 25th month, you will have maxed out.
Oh, I see. So the roll up, because I was going to filter it where June rolls up to June's scorecard, anything 1. And so maybe then I need to just make it a lookup, not master detail, and just use flow to give myself the filtered roll up money because I got to pull in the revenue money and compare it to the opportunity money and tie it all together.
Even with going with that same approach, like if you are looking to create fields for every month, you are looking at constant maintenance, because for every month you're going to have to create a new field for August 2020's numbers to roll into, to then go into your flow or whatever mechanism to go aggregate, to go take those results and put them in August 20. Every month you're going to be doing maintenance because you've dedicated the timeline into the metadata. Versus
right, it's almost like you'd have to have a related object per month.
I did a field that says date, because we did this with the revenue. We have a date field, and then the month that it shows is a case formula field that'll just show June, so that those 2 things match.
Okay.
But I did it like we had the revenue object. So.
Got it. Okay.
To do that, you could probably just have a start and end date on every scorecard and just say if this opportunity fits between these 2 dates and it matches this rep, assign it. Then you don't have to have a formula that assesses what month it's at.
Roll-up summaries don't play kindly with dates like that, though.
Oh, I was thinking about flow. Sorry.
Flow. Okay, flow. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
So basically, like with the process builder, I was kind of doing it backwards because I was trying to create that child object, 1 opportunity, and tie it to that sitting out there scorecard object for that same month. But there was no way to say, hey, match it up to that one. But you're saying flow, I could do that because there's like filters. Okay, so sounds like I just need to go flow.
Yeah.
Mind if I ask, what does 1 opportunity do for you? Isn't it just a subset of the opportunities?
It is if it has some other caveats, and the only reason I was thinking that is because like if I'm a rep and I had 3 different opportunities of 2 different accounts, then I wanted, like, that is my goal I have to surpass for that month. It's kind of and I was thinking if I just dumped in directly from opportunities up to scorecard, I could probably still do that maybe. And yeah, I was just thinking I wanted a way for it to be related. Here's all the opportunities you actually won tied to that. But yeah, and I can start over. I'm on week 1.
If you use the flow, you don't even need that 1 opportunity object at all.
Beautiful.
All you need, all you need is a scorecard, and then make sure your monthly buckets are coming and then updating the respective buckets based on the opportunity closed one. But to make sure you're evaluating the entire for that account, so that you won't, our account or that rep, whatever the level you want to be, you have to reevaluate that entire set, even though 1 opportunity got 1.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that last part that you were talking about. Reevaluate what?
Could you speak to that again? Could you clarify that?
Did we lose him?
He's on mute.
We might have lost him.
So Christy, I just sent you a private in the chat with my email address. I would love to, we can just set up some time next week and throw this on a Zoom and we can dive in a little bit deeper. I may still have a valid NDA there. I don't know.
Well, I could show you my sandbox. That's no different than me showing you sandbox on here because I'm building it right now.
Right. I'm just wondering if this is a bigger, more in-depth requirements gathering than we have in 23 minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take up this whole time.
No,
You
you're
just
good.
answered
You're
it.
good.
You can't do it with Process Builder.
You're good. I'm just saying, I'm wondering if we need to carve out an hour or so to just focus exclusively on this. I would love to give you my time to do that.
I would so love that because Nate Schilling has moved on.
You what?
Nate Schilling has moved on, and I'm new at Flow.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. Shoot. I like I said, I put it in a private message there. Shoot me an email, and we'll find a time next week.
Okay. All hail. Thank you so much.
I wouldn't go that far.
We've got a happy girl. Ernesto, is that right?
Ernesto was next up. He has a pretty good question, I think, too.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, great. Hi, thank you very much, first of all. This is great. I've been using Salesforce for a little over a year now, and I'm an experienced business analyst, so I've been dealing with a lot of projects and functionality, and I've been involved in web development for a long time. My question is, it's kind of more in the world of Salesforce. How do you handle all those requests, like support requests, meaning I can't log in or report or an extra field on? I know this is very basic, but you know, I keep going so I can get to my point. But basically, then I have more requests like automation, you know, logic, and then I have actual projects where we create new objects to, you know, to satisfy new business needs, so new applications. And then basically, what I'm really missing there is I have two developers, so I can organize the work for them and for myself, but I'm missing the visual way of easy to communicate with the stakeholders what the project status is, and then also to organize it in a way that is, you know, you have a 360 view in Salesforce. Because right now I've been using outside tools like Jira and other ones, but now I'm trying to figure out how to use Salesforce to actually do all in one. And I've installed last couple of weeks, I've been playing around with Agile Accelerator and a PM tool that allows me to do a timeline and, you know, a little bit of charting. So I just want to know what's your experience of that and if I'm going the right direction.
Start simple, use cases, and then go from there to like AA or whatever.
Dale, along those same lines, before Agile Accelerator was available, I built out a project object and I created a case process for Salesforce admin at company.com. And the request came in through there, and I could either answer them one-off or I could apply them to one of these bigger projects. And then I created a whole dashboard around the projects and those cases so that the stakeholders and executives could see what the heck I was doing. And it served me well over a number of different orgs. It's not, I mean, I should probably just like use Agile Accelerator at this point, but it's always been something that I just like built on my own. Very simple custom object, and then been able to relate cases to it when they come in. And you can use the Kanban board and you can use reporting, and it's all there at your fingertips, and you can have it do exactly what you want it to do as opposed to, you know, what, you know, some other tool might be requesting. Along those lines, I've also had like a link to Jira baked into those cases. So when it got you know, escalated to the point where the development team needed to come in and do something, we would add the Jira link to that so that we can link it back and the progress could be seen there too.
Okay.
So,
and I built a very similar thing to what Joy said when I was a solo admin, and it's super simple for the users. They know what object it is. They know what information they have to put in. Yep, you could chatter right there if it's a one-off, hey, I reset your password, or it's password 3 now, whatever. Or this is going to be a bigger project, but then it's up to you of what you and your team are comfortable with to go to Agile Accelerator or Jira or whatever. But the other thing that I used that object for was because I was the solo admin and I was supporting the whole organization, customer service, sales, business development, operations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That then let me host a meeting every month, the steering committee meeting, to say, all right, all y'all asked for all of this and I'm only one person. So you all talk amongst yourselves. You pick your top 5 things I'm working on this month, and then you tell me and I'll figure out how it fits. But I'm not making that decision. You submitted this data. This is what you want me to work on. You all tell me where it all fits. And it's all data. It's right there in Salesforce and super easy for them to provide, but for you to digest as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. As simple as adding a priority and a ranking to that.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think it was more on how you organize it in Salesforce, because like we have Jira, but I'm trying to not use Jira because I want to keep it all in one place.
Well, and that ends up, like I'm kind of working on this with my client right now, is how much do you make available to your business stakeholders or how much do you not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, your business probably shouldn't be living in Jira. That's your work management tool. That's your tasking. That's your ticketing. Let them just have the interface that makes sense and is intuitive to them. And if that's like the most common use for what you're asking for is a record type on the case object. If your case object isn't so overblown to the point because of customer service, whatever, which is common, but if you have the ability to even use your case object and that's the entry point for your users, then do that. Keep it simple for them, and then you can go customize the downstream however you need to, whether it's in Salesforce or not. But just giving them that simple case or custom object interface is all they need.
Thank you.
And I'm going to add one more thing to that. I have always added a chatter group that was called like, how do I do that? And, you know, and so what that does is it creates a collective thought library about like, how do I create a task? How do I create a recurring task? How do I, you know, create this special opportunity process? How do I convert a lead? Because inevitably those things come up and time again, and then you can kind of like send your users there first, and then they start answering questions for their peers, and it's fantastic. And that's like a low key way of like having a community internally, like just give them that space to ask the questions.
Yes, that's on my list also. I could probably ask.
Oh, that's got to be the first thing. It's super easy, low hanging fruit.
It's not easy because the business is very segregated into their own teams and they don't really collaborate. I mean, for me, it's hard even to give them training on how to create a lead, which is
well, every time they ask a question, rephrase it and answer it in the group, then add them to the group and tell them that the answer is in the group. And
I
then,
have a group,
and then build it up.
And just, I'd love to chime in on the asking a question, because we have over 800 users, and I use Screencast-O-Matic to make short 5-minute or less videos on how to do little individual things. So when people would, you know, ask, I'd be like, here's your video, here's your video.
That's also what I'm doing. Yes, we have a learning management system too that I'm trying to use, but I have zero adoption.
Oh, well, don't send it to them via email. Post it in the chatter group. Make them come get it.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you.
It's my passive aggressive way of forcing people to use the tool.
Yes, I will definitely start that. Thank you.
And of course, as you're going through that, feel free to ping any of us. Happy to jump on a one-on-one call to you know, step you through it, throw stuff at us, whatever. So
sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've also used the recorded videos on how to do the common things, and we've loaded them up as docs, and then we've used the settings to say open in a new tab and run the video. It's really simple. Please only do that for video formats, not executable, so you'll create a security hole. But you can do that from setup straight away. And then, and you can do it with audio files as well. And it's a real, then you can just put that on a page, and if people don't know what they're doing, they can click on that and, you know, get some basic information.
Yeah.
And it works well.
Sounds good.
And then in-app guidance. Don't forget about in-app guidance coming through. So
Yeah. I have videos already. I'm doing all of that. I'm doing like very short videos. It's just, you know, I've been doing it now, and it's just a little bit discouraging when nobody actually does anything about it. But I will put it in right there on the record with one of those lightning components, and we'll see where it goes.
Yep.
Thank you.
all right. You're welcome. I think, Mike, do you have a question? You're next. Mike, you're muted still. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I can push a button every now and then. First off, I was here just a couple of weeks ago, and Dale and company said, you know, I had my question about I've lost data loader, and I got pushed over to Workbench, and thank you, big win. I'm a happy guy. So I get a call. I got a child object, a child to the opportunity, and the guy says, I'm going to attach documents to that. But it really, for finance, it would help if that document actually doesn't help. It needs to be attached to the opportunity as the parent record. And I said, gee, I think I should be able to do that. Yeah, I spoke too soon. Because content documents are kind of they're not exactly straightforward as far as at least the ID and the linked ID, and it's just a bear as far from an admin. So the use case is I have a child record, a file gets attached to it as a content document. How much effort is involved to automatically create a link to that parent record?
So when you say content document, are you saying a file? Are you saying a document in the content library? Salesforce is ambiguous and multi-use terms.
Okay.
Strike again.
Yeah, okay. To me, a file is a content document. A file, when I upload a file, it becomes a content document. That's where I live.
So you want the child document to be accessible to the parent account?
Yes, visible and accessible.
Like on a related list?
Well,
because I mean, I don't know. Is there a way to create a child, like a junction object with that? I don't know, but that almost sounds like what you're looking for, because it's like the account becomes almost like a grandparent level thing, and I just don't know if files are going to allow you to do that because they're special.
They certainly are.
Super special. I haven't been able to see where can you customize the files object? The fields, yeah, that's what I thought. Squire's shaking his head no.
So we just did something like this. That's why I'm shaking. I'm going to tell you a story, but it's not going to help as much as just like warn you. So you can use a URL. You can
Squire,
use
you need to come to the
hack.
table with drinks if you're going to tell these kind of stories. Come on.
You can use the URL hack to sneak up on the file document object and actually customize it, add fields to it. You can even use it in a way to like generate reports and output and stuff. But the only way you can get to it is through this hack, which is dangerous and something that as soon as my admin did it, I was like, we shouldn't be doing this. I do know that you can access that content file record with, not with Flow, with a trigger to be able to say, I just created a file on this object, find its content file record and reassign its parent. I know you can do that because we've done it, but it requires code, and it's also not very sustainable because now you don't have the ability to say, when should I or shouldn't I reassign them?
Yeah.
So the follow-up question I'd have is, doesn't it make sense to just take files off of that object and make them put it at the opportunity?
That question does beg to be asked, yes. Yeah.
I guess another question, are you in Lightning?
Yes, I am.
This is more of a developer-y question, but is there a way with Lightning record pages to have a component that compiles files related either to a parent object record or the child object records? and then puts them, if you're trying to pivot from the opportunity, can you go say, go grab all my child object record files, or like opportunity being a child of account, go grab all of accounts files and then show them here in a component on the Lightning record page? Is that a thing?
It
Kinda-
definitely
Well-
is a thing, yes.
Okay.
Because you can do like a parent records single related list, you know, like, or use this account or the parent account's related list.
Mhm.
So you might be able to kind of roll through that. But yeah, it's not awesome.
What about making the move to files? Are you stuck in content, or can you make the move to Salesforce files? Because within Salesforce files, you can use the same file and build relationships to other objects.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, right.
I
Like
think-
what you're saying is like share it multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you take
Yeah.
the one file and just create a sharing, basically create a sharing link between that file and wherever that record is. That object or the record or the file exists only once, but you have multiple relationships to it, and you can reassign it at that point.
Yeah, those are.
Flow.
I don't remember what that object is, Jake. Do you remember what that is? It's like content relationships or something like that.
Yes, content relationship. You can actually do that with Flow too. So you can actually build, in order, if you want to trigger it off of the creation of the record, it's could it trigger to launch that flow, but maybe to do with Flow now with the new criteria, but you can, I know you can definitely hit those objects and reparent them and create new records of those within Flow.
Okay. Good news. Thank you.
I think the really tricky thing about that, Mike, and you're probably already there, but there's so many extra like links to the chain between what the file is and what it relates to, that from the outside looking in, it just looks like a child record, but it's not really. It's there's tiers there, and almost like the way Chatter is like, it looks just like a post sitting there, but there's all those connectors. So diving into the metadata will help you understand what needs to be cloned or replicated or appended or reshared, like Jake was mentioning.
Yep.
So I think you have some homework ahead of you.
Yeah. Gee,
A lot of that
thanks.
homework can be done in Workbench, though.
There we go. See? It's all good. All right. Thank you. Who'd like to be
Oh,
next?
do we have any more questions? We did. I don't know. We don't have anyone's hands up. Jake, that was an awesome tie-in. I like that. Oh, wow. I love you guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, no more questions? Come on. No stumpers?
I'll ask another
No?
one.
No. Yeah, bring it on.
All right,
You
so
have-
the
you have
design
6
team and I were
minutes.
talking about data loader. We cannot give data loader access to the business, but they want an easier way than they have now, which is send it to me, to upload a whole bunch of tasks, and they're getting their data from Dale, or a process builder. No, what it's called? Field Progress Tool. That's the name of the 25-year-old program. Field Progress Tool. So
I
it's
think
an
I had my
outside
hands
program.
on that one too.
So Dale and Christy are just going to have a call later today.
But is there anything else that is worthy of giving a business person to be able to insert a bunch of tasks?
Never, ever. No, I'm kidding.
That's fine. That's what the three of us said on the
I like
call.
that answer,
I
Dale.
just thought I'd ask.
So honestly, at the task level, though, it'd be worth looking into enabling the data import wizard permission. Can you do that through tasks? Or sorry, through can you do activities through data import wizard?
I think the challenge will be, how does it know its ID?
Okay, fair.
I don't
A
think
potential.
Pass through the import wizard.
You what?
I don't think you can import
I'm
activity.
so distracted by your bird.
I know this might be the first parrot we've ever had on office hours.
He's actually a cockatoo, but
Cockatoo. Okay, sorry.
it's different.
So cute.
I don't think we can actually do that with the import wizard. I don't think that's one of the available objects.
Okay. Are you doing Salesforce for Outlook or Lightning Outlook, anything like that, that may be able to kind of hack it from Outlook and sync tasks that way?
Normally, they're pulling the account number, which could be a variety of opcos. And then
Gotcha.
I use Einstein to match it up. That's my VLOOKUP. I use Einstein to pull out the Salesforce ID of the golden record account to then create that. That's why I
Gotcha.
don't think that they would do it right anyway. But I just didn't know if there was any other object besides, yeah, no. Joy is going, no, there's nothing. That's fine. The answer is, sorry, you just got to send it to the CRM IT team.
Right.
Yeah,
Which, I mean,
sorry,
then,
it's a security risk.
well, it's a security
Security
risk, but
risk.
it also gives you some quality control on it too. I know it sucks that it's an extra step, but it's some quality control that you can put on it.
And
But at least
if
I told them how to give it to me. Can't be multiple tabs. You have to have all this data
Mhm.
filled out.
That's awesome. Just having a template and like a requirement to say it's got to look like this so I can take the 30 seconds to load it versus the 30 days to load it is a huge add. A lot of people don't think that far ahead, so that's good.
I still have to
No, if you-
look it up from Einstein, but it still takes me only 1 hour, not 8 hours. So, yay.
Okay.
Right. It's just
I'm fixated on Data Import Wizard. Are custom objects in the realm of possible of Data Import Wizard?
Yes.
They are?
Yep.
Would you potentially consider any kind of like process builder or flow that processes a custom object intake that gets imported through the Data Import Wizard, and then once all the records are there on that standardized form, which also meets your requirement of being in a standard format, and then the process just chunks through that to go create the tasks?
Here's a question then. Can you turn on permissions on an individual basis to maybe 3 people or 4 people to use Data Import Wizard?
Permission sets.
Because I don't want
Set.
anyone else to use it.
Permission set.
I had an org
permission
that
set,
used a
permission
tool.
set, permission set.
I had an org that used a tool called Excel Connector. It's Excel, and the licenses for like business users are not crazy expensive. And what you would do is you would set up a template in Excel, map the columns to the Salesforce fields, and all they have to do is hit run. So I mean that's the super short version of how it all works.
And we would have to then export out the Salesforce ID back to Field Progress Tool to make that thing work. But that's a good thing for down the road.
Onga also has a product called Grid. I've never used it, but it's supposed to be for, I'm looking here, it looks like you can add records with it. It's supposed to be for like mass editing and stuff. I don't know if budget is an issue or not, but that could be a problem.
Always.
Yeah.
Conga Grid is really cool. We use that, but there's other ones. Conga have one called Xauthor that works with Excel on Windows laptops and desktops, not Macs, which you can get really fancy with what you can automate if people love the Excel interface.
Those are all great ideas. I'll discuss that with the design team and see what they want to do with that. Thank you.
So I can stick on. I saw Marty raised her hand as well. I don't know who else can, but I can stay on for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
How about you guys next time?
I just had a really quick question. If this is Marty, if anybody has played around with the new
Uh-oh.
The new what, Marty? Marty? No.
Cliffhanger.
Oh, Marty. We lost her. Oh, man. We'll have to message her on the success community and get her to post in.
Yeah.
So do we wrap things up then?
Yeah, unfortunately. I think
Oh,
we
look,
could-
she just dialed back in.
Hi.
Hi.
Marty, no.
I've got to bounce, but you guys can stay, okay?
Hi, Joy.
Marty, what you got?
If anybody has played around with the new program management module, I'd love to have a discussion with you. You can message me in chat. That would be great.
Program management module. I've not heard of this.
Yeah, me either. I would love to see you should start a conversation in MVP and let's get this. Maybe this is a topic for next time.
Great. Yeah, it was released under the auspices of nonprofit, but it can be used for any version of Salesforce. But I'd love to have a discussion about it.
Yeah, throw it out there.
Yeah, there's a very good webinar available, recorded, that's called something like Deep Dive into Program Management Module. And they kind of show the custom objects, etc. But I have questions. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
And for everybody's reference, I'm putting the link to that group in the chat. Okay. Well, that was fun.
Every time.
Every time.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe. And thanks for helping us get smarter and better. Like always.
August 7th. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.
Thank you, everybody.